I welcome you all to Module 1, Session 3 Ethical Hacking versus Penetration Testing. We will be seeing about the major differences between the two and the objectives. Penetration testing can be defined as a legal and authorized attempt to locate and successfully exploit computer systems for the purpose of making those systems more secure. This process includes probing for vulnerabilities in the computer. Proper penetration testing always ends with specific recommendations from the tester for addressing and fixing the issues that were discovered during the test. On the whole, this process is used to help secure computers and networks against future attacks. They can test many of the vulnerabilities identified during the process, which is also known as vulnerability assessment, to quantify the actual threat and risk posed by the vulnerability. When ethical hackers are carrying out a penetration test, their ultimate goal is usually to break into a system and hop from system to system until they own the system of the network, which is an interconnection of multiple computers. The hackers do this so that they can access and control all of the resources on the network. The penetration tester, on the other hand, shows the customer or the company what an actual attacker can do under the circumstances and what the company needs to change with respect to the current security practices in place. Whereas, while the ethical hacker is carrying out the attacks, they end up with important or sensitive information which may include the CEO's passwords, company trade secret documents, other administrative passwords, confidential documents held on employees' laptops, or even the combination to the company's secret vault. A penetration tester might do the same, but with the difference of letting the decision makers understand the ramifications of these vulnerabilities. Like everyone else, when you as a security professional tell the employers about their vulnerability or how open they are to attacks by explaining them with respect to the open services, open ports, misconfigurations, they would never understand or care about. But as soon as you show the CEO his next year's projections, or show the CEO all the blueprints to the next year's product line, or tell the CEO that his password is BDAY01050, they will all want to learn more about the importance of a security system and other countermeasures that should be put into place. The goal of a vulnerability test is to provide a listing of all the vulnerabilities within a network, whereas the goal of a penetration test is to show the company how these vulnerabilities can be used against them by the attackers. From here, the security professional or an ethical hacker provides advice on the necessary countermeasures that should be implemented to reduce the threats of these vulnerabilities individually and collectively. Moving on, we will discuss advanced vulnerability tools and methods as well as some penetration techniques now. Coming to the main differences between both the terms, what is ethical hacking? Simply put, it is hacking but in an ethical way. That's it. The goal of ethical hacking, like criminal hacking, is to find security vulnerabilities in an organization's system. However, as the word ethical suggests, the person conducting the attack must have the organization's approval before proceeding. Why would an organization ask someone to hack them, you may ask? Simple. They understand that one of the best ways to identify the flaws that a cyber criminal might exploit is to think like a criminal themselves. Just like the plain old analogy, ethical hackers are often hired before a new system or major update goes live in an organization. These ethical hackers test the systems, looking for weaknesses that they can exploit and keeping notes of their findings. Similarly, organizations can call on ethical hackers as part of a bug bounty scheme. These are programs which offer financial rewards to people who provide evidence of an exploitable flaw in the organization's system. Bug bounties aren't simply a way of helping organizations identify weaknesses, though, they also educate hackers to stay on the right side of the law. Whether they are being offered a bounty or not, many hackers will probe organization system in their spare time because they enjoy the challenge. But once they make a breakthrough, they might find it tempting to use their discovery for criminal gain. That is, moving from white hat hacker to a black hat hacker. Offering them a reward for sharing their findings means it's not simply a case of money but ethics. Now, coming to penetration testing. What is penetration testing? Penetration testing is a specific type of ethical hacking, we can say, in which an organization hires a certified professional to assess the strength of its security defenses. These are usually performed via on-site audits of the organization in question. The penetration tester will be given access to a certain amount of privileged information and attempt to use it until they can find some sensitive information. Different types of penetration tests focus on specific aspects of an organization. These include external network tests, internal network tests, web application tests, and virus network tests. Unlike ethical hacking, penetration tests are typically carried out at regular intervals, typically quarterly or anytime the organization makes major changes to their networks or their components or applications. Let's see what are the steps as a summary in ethical hacking as well as in unethical hacking. So, the steps involved in ethical hacking or penetration testing are as follows. First step, they form different teams of codes such as a red team, a white team, or a blue team, which we will see in detail later on. Second, they establish the ground rules such as objectives, attack matrices, who knows what about the other team, start and stop dates, legal issues, formalized approval, and written agreement with signatures and contact information. And lastly, it involves passive scanning, active scanning, attack surface enumeration, fingerprinting, targeting the system, exploiting the vulnerabilities, documenting them, and also reporting the same. We will see more about these in the later chapters. Now that we have seen what are the steps in ethical hacking, you may ask what is the typical work nature of an unethical hacker? It is as follows. So, we can say the modus operandi of an unethical hacking is as follows. The first step is target selection. How will a hacker choose an organization? Is it due to a grudge or for fun or profit? These decides it. Next is attack using intermediaries. The attacker launches his attack from a different system than his own to make tracking back to him more difficult in case the attack is detected. There may be several layers of intermediaries between the attacker and the victim. These intermediaries are often victims of the attacker as well. Next is proceeding with penetration testing. So this involves steps such as passive scanning, active scanning, attack surface enumeration, targeting the system, fingerprinting, exploiting the vulnerabilities, or the steps involved, which we will be seeing in detail next. Next is preserving access. This involves uploading and installing a rootkit or a backdoor or a Trojan application to assure that the attacker can regain access at any point of time. Now comes covering the tracks. The scrubbing of event and audit logs, hiding uploading files, hiding the active processes that allow the attacker to regain accesses. These are covering the tracks. Disabling messages to security software and system logs to hide malicious processes and actions are also part of this covering the track. Lastly, hardening the system. After taking ownership of a system, an attacker may fix the open vulnerabilities so no other attacker can use the system for the same or other purposes. That's it. We have come to the end of this session. See you all in the next session.